back to Coffee Break with Onboard Hospitality. I'm joined today by Mark Russel, CEO of Linstol, who is going to tell me about all the exciting things going on as they come up to their 30-year anniversary. So hi, Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, April. Thank you for having the conversation with me today.
No, thank you for being here. Congratulations are in order. Congrats on hitting 30 years. How does it feel to look back on the past 3 decades? What highlights sort of stand out to you?
I think it's actually a pretty amazing time within our company's history. 30 years is a long period of time. And really the history started with Peter Woolhouse and his wife Peggy over a coffee table like this in 1993. And they were in their house sitting around having a conversation about where he could make a difference. And he realized he had a lot of knowledge in the headset world. And literally that's where the company was formed. And one of the interesting questions we get asked a lot is, where did the name Linstol come from? I always get this somewhat wrong, but Peter, I believe, was born in Lincoln and Peggy was born in Bristol, or it's the other way around. And hence that's where Linstol came from, to honor both of their original hometowns. So the company started there. Peter set a tone for the type of company that he wanted us to be. He really believed in customer service and delivering what we promised, and that ethos has continued from day one. I'm actually happy to say as well that one of our employees, Julia, who works in our UK office, has literally been with us for 28 of those 30 years. So employee-centric was also a word that Peter used back then, and that was kind of exciting. So certainly the beginning of the company would be one of the highlights. 2005 would be sort of the next level, and that is when Ola Beck took over as the majority shareholder. Ola opened up the US office and really began to see a vision beyond just being a UK-based company. He started adding other product lines in addition to just headsets, and really drove the company to another level of business while he was there. So that was pretty significant as well. I joined the company in 2011, along with Kevin Pete, my CFO. And from that perspective, we were brought on board to see if we could take the company to a whole different level of business. And I'm happy to also say that we've been successful in that. But we were also meant to be a succession plan. So certainly Peter Woolhouse at that time was starting to retire, and Ola was certainly looking at the opportunity someplace down the road. So that was the beginning of the plan, and we did well with that. Another key highlight for me would have to actually be the COVID years. I am probably the most proud of the work that my team did, the way we stayed together. We have always built ourselves and prided ourselves on the fact that we are an employee-centric company. And unlike many in the industry, we were able to maintain effectively 98% of our workforce globally, which allowed us to have a consistency of message. And during those COVID years, it literally was our employees that kept us afloat. They sacrificed a lot to make sure it happened, along with Kevin and myself. But there's no way that I could not hit a highlight feature without acknowledging the work that they did. And I'm also happy to say that based on all that work, 2022 for us will be a record year by significant numbers. So that was a great move for us as well.
Well, congratulations on that. That's all amazing to hear. Are you doing anything to celebrate all your milestones?
You know, we'll host a year-long celebration. So I think our official date starts on January 4th. We're probably gearing up a little bit more towards WTCE 2023, where we'll be launching some new initiatives and kind of taking public some of the stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes. I know that my employees have voted for a private jet trip someplace. That may be slightly over budget, but we'll certainly find a way to celebrate with both our employees and the industry as well.
Oh, great. Well, congrats again. Looking forward, what's in store for the next decade or next 30 years, perhaps?
Again, I go back to that original, and I asked Peter Woolhouse this on a regular basis, which is, when he started the company, could he visualize where the company would be 30 years from then? And really his answer is, I had no idea. I've asked the same of Ola Beck, and he's had the same thing. You build a 10 or 15 year model, and you only hope that the company continues to drive past that. So 30 years down the road, it's probably a long time. I'm not sure I can visualize today what it is, but I will talk about a couple of highlights that we have. So we for sure we're coming to WTCE 2023 with a new look. We've been working on a rebranding exercise. Not that there was anything wrong with the old brand, but it needs to be updated. So there's a new fresh look coming from us, I think, this year. We have a couple of brand new initiatives that we'll roll out through the next year. One of those being a continuation of our sustainability conversation. It's been part of our ethos for years, but we're only bringing it public recently. We kind of believe in doing things before we talk about them. So there will be a push. If I have my way over the next 3 to 5 years, we will become a plastic positive company, taking more plastics out of the environment than we're actually generating and putting it in. So we have some exciting partnerships with the Plastic Bank, with the Carbon Fund, and others that will help drive those initiatives. But I think the biggest announcement that I would talk about, which sets our financial future, is that when Kevin and I were brought in, we were always meant to be the succession plan on a generational change that we've been working towards. And while I'm a little early in this conversation, I will confirm that on October 31st, Linstol will join the Hoffman family of companies. They're a wonderful family private equity firm based here in Naples, Florida, that invests in quality companies. So the big announcement for us is that we have another fantastic financial partner. Kevin, Pete, and myself will retain both the CEO and CFO titles. And we're confident enough in the new version of Linstol that Kevin and myself will also become equity partners in the new co. So from the outside perspective, nothing will change. Everything will operate the way it has. But from a financial perspective, we now have a much stronger financial partner. And I anticipate that to be significant growth in probably a shorter period of time than we would have done on an average 10-year business plan.
That sounds really exciting. Do you have any other particular goals? Like, what do you hope to achieve with this new partnership?
I think if I were looking at an audacious goal, I would say that I'd like to see us double in volume in the next 1 to 2 years. And so some of that will be acquisitional. For sure, we want to continue to be an employee-centric company. So it's continuing to find the best of the best employees and taking them and learning from them and really driving us as a company being pushed forward. I've been pushed by some of my younger employees to become more conscious of what's going on in the world, our effects as a corporation. And so I see that being one of our main initiatives as well. Similar to that Plastic Bank conversation, it's about how do we as a corporation do good in the world? How do we push ourselves even further beyond what we're doing today to make sure that not only are we returning a profit for our shareholders, but that we're actually doing something that is meaningful in the world at large.
Great. And so how do you see Linstol positioning itself within the wider industry going forward?
We started out as sort of a couple of people sitting in a small warehouse, and we could do it cheaper than others. As we began to grow and find talent, we began to realize that we had a lot of people with massive amounts of talent within the company. So we began to develop design-oriented features. We began to develop the sustainability programs, and all of those were driven by the employees that we brought on board. I think that as we move forward, the vision of who we are just continues to be amplified. So it really is, do we look at other verticals? Can we talk to hospitality industry? Do we start talking to the cruise ship industry? Or certainly expanding in the design world in amenity kits. So a lot of that has to do with, I think, what our overall model is, which is to grow well, grow strong, but continue to stay focused primarily in the airline space, but knowing that we have other avenues of opportunity if we choose to take them.
Great. Well, I think I speak on behalf of the entire industry when I say congratulations again, and we'll be anxiously waiting to see what happens with you for the next 10 years, because it sounds like there's lots on the cards.
Fantastic, April. There definitely is, and hopefully over the next few months, we'll be sharing more of what those visuals look like. And we certainly always appreciate what Onboard Hospitality is doing in the industry, and I appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me, and good luck with it all.